Hello and welcome to another video review. This is going to be of Shadow Warrior for DOS and Windows 95. This game was developed by the same people who made Duke Nukem 3D, and it's using the same engine as well. And you can tell that simply from looking at the graphics. They're extremely similar to Duke Nukem 3D's, although the sprites are probably a little bit better drawn. The animations are, what you'd expect of a game from 1996, 97, something like that. They're not perfect, but they're still pretty good. They get the point across. The sprite work is quite good. The environments, they're quite detailed, actually, surprisingly enough, considering that they just repeat the same textures over and over and over again. But they do put a bunch of little features in there to keep it detailed, like in Lo Wang's dojo. There's lots of different stuff you'd expect to find in a dojo. There's a bunch of little stuff in the train station, like Coke cans and suitcases and stuff. So it's got a lot of nice little details in it, and little fun stuff to keep you visually entertained. The sound design in this game is excellent. The weapon sounds are nice and concussive, like the shotgun sounds like a shotgun, stuff like that. But the real draw here is probably Lo Wang's voice, and it's quite amusing, because he makes a little comment on pretty much everything, and it's usually something really stupid, like, I blew somebody up once and he just screamed, "I kill you!" And, stuff like that. Really, really bad puns, similar to Duke Nukem 3D, only a little bit more graphic and stuff like that. But this game, I must say, thanks to all the little comments he makes, is quite vulgar. It's really, really vulgar for 3D Realms, even since they've done Duke Nukem 3D. But that's not really that vulgar. It's more, comical. And this is the case with this, too. It's comical, but it's more vulgar than Duke Nukem 3D. I wouldn't say it's as vulgar as, say, Postal 2, because that game is about as vulgar as it gets. But I warn you, in case you are offended by strong language, which I highly doubt, considering that you're watching this, but it doesn't matter. I want to get that out of the way anyway. The music isn't all that wonderful. It gets the point across, but it's just basic, Asian-style music and stuff like that. So it's nothing that'll blow you away, but it works. Now, gameplay is pretty much where this game shines. It plays a lot like Duke Nukem 3D, only it's set in an Asian theme, and it's got more emphasis on the comedy aspect that you see sort of in Duke Nukem 3D. It's more about the little puns and stuff in Duke Nukem, but in Shadow Warrior, it's basically an onslaught of puns and little references here and there. Like, you go to one level, and it actually has a coffin, and it says, "Chan, he slipped in the shower." And then he goes, "This no movie, Mr. Chan." So, it, got little puns relating to, say, Jackie Chan, and even at one of the later levels, "Remember what I taught you. The Force will be with you, always." Stuff like that. You get a bunch of little pop culture references here and there. But that it is quite amusing, and that's the point. And the gameplay itself, it's got a lot of secret areas. It plays like an old school FPS. Enemies take a lot of damage towards the end of the game, and they do a lot of damage to you. So it does scale in difficulty depending on where you are in the game. So that's a good thing. It's not like I'd say Call of Duty 4 or something like that, where the difficulty is pretty much the same throughout. But it does scale, and it's pretty easy at the start, but it gets harder and harder as you go on. Now, they geared this game at an adult audience, and you can tell that just from the amount of blood and gore, the obscenity in it. It's that you never drop any F-bombs in the game, but he still cusses quite a bit. And there's a little bit of sexual content, but it's nothing that's too revealing at all. It's stuff you'd expect to find in maybe a PG-13 movie, actually, but there is a special edition of the game available, and that's what I got, because it was all I could find. But it's basically the game itself, only without the blood, the gore, the vulgarity, and the sexual content. So, and you can get a patch to remove that from the website if you really want to. But anyway, the weapons choices are absolutely ridiculous, because they I guess they figured that since they were gearing it at adults, they could go with whatever they want. Because 2 of the weapons are body parts. You get the last weapon supposed to get is called the Ripper Heart, and it's just a heart you hold up, you squeeze it, and it creates a clone of you. And then the other weapon is the Guardian Head, where it's just a severed head, and it shoots fireballs out of it. And it's just ridiculous. But the amount of just crazy stuff that's in this game is just astounding. So if you really, really like silly FPSs, then this is definitely one you want to check out. There's a demo on the website, and I'll link that to you. But anyway, if you're not into silly FPSs, if you like, Call of Duty or something like that, then I wouldn't advise going for this, because it's not meant to be serious at all. It's meant to be silly and fun, and that's just what it is. It is silly and it is fun. So yeah, I highly recommend it to FPS fans who like silly stuff. But other than that, it's really kind of a niche game, because it's one of those classic FPSs that plays like a classic FPS with a heavy emphasis on bad jokes. And I mean, while the bad jokes are funny most of the time, because it's just so ridiculous, it does kind of get a little old after a while. And that doesn't mean the game is bad. The game design is excellent in this game, because there's lots of secret areas to find. I still haven't found all of them, and I've had this for years. It's kind of like how I am with Duke Nukem 3D and some of the other old FPSs that I've got. But it's fun. I wouldn't recommend it to hardcore FPS fans that like, Red Orchestra and Call of Duty and stuff like that. But if you're into something that's more casual, then this is definitely something you want to check out. But I do recommend that you're at least 17 before you look at it, or you're allowed to watch R-rated movies and stuff, because it's pretty adult oriented. So yeah, thanks for watching.